3 aircraft carriers and a dozen other warships from U.S. allied nations sailed on the fringes of the South China Sea this week in one of the biggest shows of Western maritime might in the region for years. Those drills in the Philippine Sea will be followed by 2 weeks of large-scale military exercises in the South China Sea, sending a message to Beijing and asserting the freedom of navigation in increasingly tense Indo-Pacific. This is probably the first time since the Taiwan Strait crisis in 1996 that we saw these kind of carrier-based operations, said Richard Bitzinger, senior fellow at the S. Rajaratnam School of International Studies, RSIS, in Singapore. On October 3, the British Royal Navy's flagship aircraft carrier HMS Queen Elizabeth, together with 2 U.S. carriers, the USS Carl Vinson and USS Ronald Reagan, joined 14 other naval ships from the US, UK, Japan, Canada, New Zealand and the Netherlands to conduct so-called combined exercises in the Philippine Sea. 500,000 tons of sea power projection from 6 nations with an equally impressive air wing, was how it was described by Commodore Steve Morehouse, commander of the UK Carrier Strike Group 21, CSG-21, led by the HMS Queen Elizabeth. A day later, the SCS Probing Initiative, a Chinese research network, alerted that the USS Carl Vinson and HMS Queen Elizabeth had crossed the Bashi Channel into the South China Sea, the second time for both of the aircraft carriers since July. The Carl Vinson has since left for Japan. A statement from the UK Ministry of Defence on Tuesday said that over the next 2 weeks the Queen Elizabeth will navigate the South China Sea with ships and aircraft from Australia, Canada, Japan, New Zealand, and the United States and take part in a large-scale joint maritime exercise. The RSIS expert Bitzinger was likening the show of force to March 1996, when America deployed 2 aircraft carriers in response to China testing missiles in seas near Taiwan in the run-up to an election there, sending a warning to self-governing island not to declare independence. At the time, observers touted it as the biggest display of military power in Asia since the Vietnam War. The U.S. deployed 2 carrier groups led by the USS Nimitz and USS Independence. The main purpose of the show of force then, same as now, was to send a message to Beijing, and some see that as provocative. They are assisting the U.S. in threatening China, said Mark J. Valencia, adjunct senior scholar at China's National Institute for South China Sea Studies, reflecting Chinese concerns. On the same day the US and UK aircraft carriers entered the South China Sea, China sent a record 52 military aircraft into Taiwan's Air Defense Identification Zone, ADIZ. Over a 4-day period beginning last Friday, Taiwan reported that nearly 150 Chinese Air Force aircraft flew into its ADIZ. The Taiwanese Defense Minister, Chu Kuo-cheng, told lawmakers on Wednesday that the cross-strait tension was the most serious in more than 40 years. The U.S. State Department on Sunday accused the Chinese army of carrying out provocative military activities that undermines regional peace and stability, adding the U.S. commitment to Taiwan is rock solid. China considers Taiwan a breakaway province and vows to unite it with the mainland, by force if necessary. Taiwan, however, regards itself as a de facto sovereign state and points to the fact that it has never been part of the 72-year-old People's Republic of China. A lot of countries attached around Asia worry about Chinese aggressiveness, and this is a way of sending a powerful message to China about freedom of navigation and operations, Bitzinger said of the aircraft carrier joint exercises. It is also to show that the U.S. have allies and friends who participate actively and closely with the U.S., he said. The presence of aircraft carriers is generally perceived as a potent symbol of freedom of navigation promoted by the U.S. and its allies. It also reveals an interesting trend in the way some countries in the Indo-Pacific develop their maritime defense capabilities with homegrown aircraft carriers.